Hey Scorpio, hey, welcome to the channel. If you're new, Scorpio, welcome back. If you are returning, I am Shauna and this is your highest good tarot. Happy freaking New Year in the wintertime. I will probably say this again during the spring equinox, just to give you a heads up. So Scorpio, we are some folks here who are always elevating, evolving towards our higher selves, towards our highest potential, towards the divine, whichever applies to your journey, Scorpio. And today is no different. We're doing a spiritual workout. We are continuing what we've been doing, and we are talking about removing blockages. This ain't nothing new, but in the spirit of the new year, we talking about removing these blockages. So what we're going to do is during the warm up, we'll talk about the situation surrounding the blockage that needs to be removed. We'll get into it. We're going to find out what that blockage is during that workout. And then we'll get the advice. And during the cool down, yes, I'm still going on with this gimmick. We are going to get the final message from spirit. And please keep in mind, Scorpio, that this message is not for every Scorpio placement. So take it as it resonates. And also, I ask and implore you to have an open heart and mind and not box spirit in. What is the situation surrounding Scorpio and the blockage that needs to be removed? What is the situation? Wow. Let's see here. So we have the Eight of Roots or the Eight of Coins. We have the Tower and we have Justice. Mm. Bottom of the deck, Knight of Axes. Knight of Axes. That's the Knight of Swords. Hmm. Somebody might be a slick ass talker, Scorpio. Is that you? That's a little slick. May have got you into some shit at work, because just going back to the situation, this is the Eight of Roots, Eight of Coins. It's all about work. The Tower. Something happened suddenly. And Justice. Something had to be done. Something had to be done. I'm hearing that an example had to be made. Let's get into what this tower is about. I feel like it may have something to do with this, but I want to go to the cards, go to spirit about it. Can we clarify this tower? Clarify all three of these. Okay. Can we clarify this Eight of Roots? Clarify the Eight of Roots, please. The Fool. And to clarify the Tower, we have the Pawpaw. That's boss energy. Okay. Clarify Justice. Yes. Okay. That's the Ten of Swords. The Pawpaw here is the Emperor. Like I said, is boss energy. Were you loose with your lips at work? Like maybe something happened and maybe it wasn't your fault. Um, it could have just been a mistake. It could have just been a situation in the circumstance. But what I'm getting is that with that Knight of Swords, that Knight of Axes, Like maybe there was, it feels like something went too far, or maybe it was taken the wrong way. Somebody could have been in a mood. Like this can be read multiple ways where this person wasn't in the mood to be fucking with you that day. Usually they may have been used to, how you are Scorpio. You gonna do your thing. As long as you get your work done, it is what it is. You might talk slick. That's the whole environment. It could be like that, but there could have been some shit going on in the boss's life where it's just like, oh, you too loose with it today. You too free. You think you got free range over here. Now I have to make an example of over you. And at the bottom of the deck, here we have the hermit. And that's kind of what I'm getting here. Like there's some things on the inside, because like I said, there's multiple ways that could be read, where there's some things that were going on with your boss and you just caught them on an ill ass day, or you know your boss um is essentially, maybe a butthole, and they really just don't like you and wanted to make an example of you anyway. And you had no idea. You knew that there was some, kind of feelings there, but nothing that serious. Nothing to the point that you would be, I'm hearing, written up, verbal warning, which is usually with a lot of corporate areas. It's like that uh that step before you get written up. And for some of you, it may have even been, dismissed. I'm also hearing setup. Like if there was a mistake that happened and they put it out on you, maybe because you were the last one that touched it, or at least that's what the paperwork said, or something like that. That it was it's it was a way to set you up from jump, fall guy, fall person. But either way, after all that took place, because that night of wands, that night of wands, that night of, well, Knight of Wands came out for a reason, because of Knight of Wands can be reactive, just like the Knight of Swords. Somebody who's reactive and doesn't take the time to actually think about a response, because responding requires thought. Um, there was a reaction, and the reaction had consequences. And the unfortunate thing is that, this was something that you definitely were not expecting, especially given the fact, what I'm getting is like, given the fact that maybe worse shit has happened, and nothing has, their response to the other shit wasn't the same. Let's get what the blockage actually is. What is the blockage for Scorpio? We have rhythm, which is a major arcana specific to this deck. We have the Six of Blues, which is the Six of Cups. And we have the Four of Jazz, which is the Four of Wands. Huh. Bottom of the deck is the Nine of Wands or the Nine of Jazz. Of course, she feels singled out because if what happened, any of the things that happened, their response to what you may have done, your mistake or whatever, it definitely has singled you out. You know, this lady is standing in the spotlight alone, essentially, and that's the energy here, like a loneliness. Like this person is singing, the blues, and that's what I'm getting. I'm getting like what the fuck moment. Rhythm, Six of Blues or Six of Cups, and the Four of Jazz, Four of Wands as the blockage. Your these essentially are two of these cards are essentially soul cards to me. Not just soul cards, but alignment with the self, alignment with your family, alignment, um having peace, because this is a peaceful ass uh scene, right? You got your lightning bugs, you can probably hear, if you just look at it, you can hear the cicadas and the crickets, and you can hear that big ass frog doing just singing the song of nature, that unity. Check out the vibe going on between this lady and this child, this oneness, this unity. And then the Four of Wands, the Four of Jazz, 1111. But this is where we are. And it wasn't even this situation. What I'm getting, Scorpio, is that this situation isn't even where this started. It was like that before this mistake, before this whole shit with your job even happened. Behind this Nine of Wands, we have the Four of Roots, the Four of Pentacles. It's like you've been holding back. You haven't been it, you haven't been feeling like yourself anyway. You haven't been feeling like you belong. You haven't been feeling um what's the word, spirit? You haven't been getting the clarity. You've been clouded. You have been um for some of you maybe even depressed. And it's a response. The slickness, the reaction that you had to the situation goes to a deeper issue. of where you are out of alignment. Your chakras are all fucked up. Let's get some advice here. If you're still rocking with me, Scorpio, go ahead and like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And if you would like a personal reading, there are different ways to get one. Send your serious inquiry to the email, and I'll respond with the different options and donation amounts, as well as processes, including the option of getting a personal reading during the live session on Tuesdays. So we have here as your advice the Six of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles, at the bottom of the deck, the Five of Wands. There's a lot of, I don't know if you are living in, if you live alone, if you do live alone, there's a lot of conflict within, with all these cars out here. If you live with others, a partner, family, there's a lot of conflict going on at home. Shoot, you may even have a hell competition with your damn partner. Clashing of the ego, right? You have no peace at home, regardless. No peace at home. But the advice here is the Two of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles. In order to get support from others, you have to be willing to support yourself, Scorpio. In order to get loyalty from others, you have to be loyal to yourself. And what's interesting about these two cards in this advice, especially if this whole thing about your job has resulted in either a demotion or a severance between the relationship between you and your job, or with a client if you own your own business or something like that. um these are about pentacles, so it is about your money essentially too, but you have to align. Both of these are about balance. Both of these are about balance. Giving and receiving, not giving and taking, giving and receiving. And once you find, or once you start to heal that balance and seek the balance, all that other stuff, those resources, they'll start to stabilize. They'll come through. But there is, this right here starts with you. You have to be more flexible with yourself, giving yourself grace, understanding, and getting to the root of where and why this is here. Is this about conditioning? Is this about how you were raised? Is this about things that you have conditioned towards yourself? Charity starts at home, and that starts with you. Let's get this final message here. Final message for spirit during the cool down. Final message for Scorpio. Oop, didn't mean to drop that. Mm, it's okay, Scorpio. Move on. There's much more for you to receive. If you have been dwelling on this, maybe even the guilt and shame of what happened, it happened. Don't hold on to it. You're still whole. You are a whole ass person. There's no lack in you. You lack nothing. Understand that. When we have that mindset of lack, what's that's where that what's wrong with me comes from. What am I missing? Why was I called out? For some of you Scorpios, it had absolutely nothing to do with you. This person had a badass day because they got some shit going on. They got some lack going on. But it's okay. It's okay. There's more for you to receive. There's more for you to receive. What else? What else for Scorpio? Final message. Final message for Scorpio, please. Some of you are caught up, if you have partners or spouses, some of you are caught up in transactional relationships where even friendships. I'm not even going to, spirit's telling me not to limit it to romantic relationships. Any relationships where this is transactional love, where you have to do something for somebody to give you some shit, to give you the love you deserve, or breadcrumb your ass, that you need to also move on from. You deserve way more than somebody that wants to take from you as you continue to give and give and give. Remember, it's about giving and receiving, not giving and taking. If you're giving and they're taking, what are you receiving? There's so much more for you, Scorpio. You are a whole person. You're worthy of so much more. You're worth so much more. Is that it, Spirit? That's it. That's all, Scorpio. When you said all you know, it's time to go. Until next